Hi, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use the 10% Niacinamide Serum, which you can use daily in the morning and or evening. Now, niacinamide is suitable for all skin types and everyone can benefit from it since it can help you to regulate oiliness. It helps to reduce the look of blemishes, has moisturizing, anti-aging and skin repair properties, and it can help you with dullness to achieve a bit more of a radiant looking skin. So overall, everyone can benefit from it since it has so many abilities to achieve a bit more of a healthier and more even looking skin over time. Now, when including niacinamide in your skincare routine, then make sure that you're going to adjust it accordingly to when you're going to use it. So if you're planning on using it in your morning routine, then please make sure to get started with the first step, which is washing your face with a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. This can be a gentle cleanser or even an exfoliating acid cleanser. Just make sure that it is able to break down any excess oil, dirt and sweat from the skin, and that it does not irritate nor dry out your skin. Then once you're done with washing your face, then you can go ahead and, if you like to, as an optional step, include a toner in between and then move on to your niacinamide serum, and then either finish with a moisturizer that already includes SPF or just with your regular sunscreen. So sun protection during daytime is important. And so this could be an example of a morning routine. Now, when it comes to your evening routine, then you're going to keep it fairly similar. So you're going to get started with washing your face with a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. In this case, you may want to change the cleanser into a cleanser that's able to break down any stubborn sunscreen and or makeup if you have worn it throughout the day, to make sure that everything comes off. And then you're moving on to a toner if you want to include one, then your niacinamide serum, and then if needed, finish with a moisturizer. And so in the evening, there is no sunscreen needed. So this would be an example step-by-step routine on how you can set it up and how you can adjust it depending on when you are using it. And so in this video, I'm now going to show you the entire application on my face as well, so that you can see everything step-by-step visually when trying this out at home. Now again, we're going to get started with the first step, which is washing your face with a suitable cleanser for your skin type and needs. Again, make sure that it's able to properly wash your face, not irritating the skin nor drying out the skin. And in this video, I'm going to keep my focus on CeraVe's foaming cleanser. This is the example cleanser that I'm going to use for this demonstration. If you have a different one, please make sure to read the directions on the back of the packaging so that you know how you can properly use your cleanser, since the directions can change. Do you have to apply your cleanser on dry or on wet skin? And so this is important to read through before using your cleanser. And then once you understand how you can properly use it, then get started with washing your face. Now in this case, since I'm using CeraVe's foaming cleanser, I need to apply it on wet skin. So my first step is going to be applying the cleanser on wet skin. So I'm going to now get started and wetting my face and neck and hands with lukewarm water to warm water. So let's go ahead and do this. Then go ahead and take your cleanser and use either about 1 to 2 pumps or about a coin size amount in the palm of your hand. Like so. Use it in between your hands and evenly massage it all over your face and neck for about 30 seconds to a minute. So, and once you have massaged your cleanser all over your face and neck, you now can again go ahead and rinse it off with lukewarm water to warm water. Now, in case you should have troubles removing the cleanser properly from the skin, go ahead and use a fresh and soft washcloth, which you can wet in between, and this can help you to remove the cleanser a bit better to make sure that everything comes off. So, and now go ahead and take a fresh towel and pat the skin dry. So So now once you're done with your cleansing step, then you can immediately move on to the next step. Now, if you have a toner at home, either an hydrating and soothing toner and or exfoliating acid toner, then this would be the next step after cleansing. However, if you do not have a toner or you want to skip it, then go ahead and immediately move on to your niacinamide serum. Now, when it comes to your niacinamide serum, then it depends mainly on the texture of your niacinamide serum, on how much you're going to use. So I have several examples right here, which if the texture is a bit thicker and stickier, I recommend sticking to 2 to 3 drops. However, if your niacinamide serum has a thinner texture, like water-like texture, then use about 5 drops. Otherwise, it won't be enough because it absorbs fairly quickly into the skin. So again, you need to adjust the amount accordingly to make sure that you're able to evenly blend it all over your face and neck, but making sure that you're not using too much of it, since the product should be able to absorb into the skin and it shouldn't leave a weird residue on the skin surface. If that should be the case, then try to reduce the amount of it to adjust it accordingly. And if you should have a niacinamide serum that comes with a pump, use between 1 to 2 pumps. Start off with 1 pump, and if that should be enough, stick to it. If you feel like it's not enough, use another pump to it. And if you should have a niacinamide serum that has like a weird opening, if you can count drops, stick to my guide with the drops, 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 drops. However, if you can squeeze it out, again, use about 1 or like 2 squeezes of product, so that you're making sure that you're using enough to properly apply it all over the face. Now I'm going to stick to the ordinary niacinamide 10% plus zinc 1% serum. This is just an example. If you have a different niacinamide at home that comes with a pipette, with a pump or whatever, go ahead and basically use it the same way. I just gave you a guide of how much you're going to use, which is of course totally adjustable. Now with the ordinary niacinamide, that one has a thicker texture, as you can see, and if you should have a similar texture, again, this is what I meant, use between 2 to 3 drops, because if you're going to use more than that, if you have such a texture, it can become quite a lot and it will feel weirdly on the skin surface. Now, depending on your niacinamide serum, either use a few drops in the palm of your hand or on your fingertips, or you can immediately use a bit on the skin and then start blending it all over your face and neck. Now, niacinamide can be used on the eye contour. Just make sure to not get it into your eyes, and please do not use it on top of the eyelids. And if you know that you have a sensitive area, then please, I recommend avoiding this part right here, because we want to avoid irritation to any extent. And please do not get it into your mouth. If you should get it into your mouth or eyes, please make sure to rinse it properly with water. So then use it between your hands or immediately apply it to the skin, and then evenly apply it all over your face and neck. You can either just evenly blend it, or you can go ahead and pat it onto the skin as well. Whatever application and blending method works the best for you, go ahead and use that one. So, and once you have applied it all over, then you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now, if this is going to be your evening routine and you should have an oilier skin type, then using a moisturizer afterwards isn't really necessary, so you can stop immediately right here and basically just cleanse your face, use your niacinamide serum, and that's it, and then go to bed. In the evening, there's no sunscreen needed. However, depending on your skin type and your overall skin concerns, and you want to use a moisturizer afterwards, you can go ahead and use a moisturizer afterwards. Just make sure that your moisturizer that you're using, that it is suitable for your skin type, that it does not irritate the skin, nor also stings on the skin in any way. And if you're using a moisturizer, either stick to about a pea-sized amount, depending on if you have a bit more of a normal combination skin, then use about that much so that you have an even thin layer all over. However, if you have a drier skin type, of course you can use a bit more so that you can properly use it all over and create a proper barrier on top of it. And you can layer your niacinamide, you can layer your moisturizer immediately after you have applied your niacinamide serum. And so once you have applied your moisturizer, in case you're using one in the evening, then again you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. So this would be an example of an evening routine. However, when using it during daytime, then it is important to follow with sunscreen. Now, niacinamide does not make the skin sensitive to the sun. Still, if you're suffering from hyperpigmentation and you should use niacinamide in that specific case for treating that, then using sun protection during daytime is important. Not only to prevent premature aging or sun-damaged skin, but if you have already existing hyperpigmentation, then please use sunscreen during daytime. And when it comes to sunscreen, well, you have moisturizers that already include SPF, or you have your regular sunscreen. So depending on your skin type and your preference, you need to make sure that you're going to choose the right one accordingly. So I have one right here from CeraVe, which is a great moisturizer with SPF 30. That's great for acne-prone, oily skin. So this would be one example. You have moisturizers with SPF that are also suitable for drier skin types. So again, adjust it accordingly. And the same would apply to a regular sunscreen. So you have gels, you have creams, you have light fluids, so again, adjust it accordingly. And so I'm going to use now in this example Anessa's gel sunscreen. And when using a sunscreen or moisturizer with SPF, one thing that won't change is the amount of how much you're going to use, which is about half a teaspoon for your face and neck, about a teaspoon if you want to include your décolletage to it as well. Make sure that when applying your sunscreen in the morning, that you're going to apply 10 to 15 minutes before sun exposure, and make sure that you're going to reapply throughout the day if you should be in the sun for several hours, where the sunscreen can break down over time, if you should have sweat a lot due to outdoor activities, or went for a swim, or where the sunscreen can move around or to some extent basically wear off, then reapplication throughout the day is important. And so I'm going to stick to that one. And the guide of using half a teaspoon is just a guide to give you an idea of how much you would need to use when using your moisturizer with SPF or your regular sunscreen, so that you have an idea of that you really need to use a fair amount of it to evenly apply it all over your face and neck. So about that much, more or less. Depending on your sunscreen and the size of your face and neck, if you should end up with a bit too much of sunscreen, then reduce it by the next time. If you should feel the need that you need to add a bit more, then use a bit more by the next time, which is of course totally adjustable. This just should give you an overall guide to understand that you need to use a fair amount to be able to blend it all over properly to protect the skin. So, and once you have applied your sunscreen all over, then again you're going to leave it on the skin. There's no need to wash it off. Now this would be an example of a morning routine when using your Niacinamide Serum. Now if you enjoyed this video and if you find it helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up as well as share it. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Happy skin caring. Bye!